1951. UPA had just made history by winning their first Academy Award win, and that entry that won, Jeremy Boing Boing, changed the landscape forever. So who won this one? Another Tom and Jerry cartoon. Get this though, The Two Mouseketeers is actually one of their best, and it's notable for several reasons. It's the first in the Mouseketeers series, which, thanks to this cartoon's success, would continue until MGM's closure of their animation studio. And it also marked the first time Nibbles had a definitive speaking voice in the form of Francoise Jean-Truffet. Or was it John Francois Truffet? Well, Little Miss Truffet, or Truffat, would continue voicing Nibbles until the end of the sub-series, but she's widely considered to be the definitive voice of Nibbles. No, second place is where UPA resided this year. Rudy Toot Toot was a genuine effort by John Hughley to get the Academy Award. It was based on a song of the same name. But Rudy Toot Toot definitely had more merit than The Two Mouseketeers, which has since become kind of divisive due to its disproportionately retributional ending to Tom. So why didn't UPA win this time? Well, besides the fact that Tom and Jerry is a lot more well known, another reason might be due to what was happening on the political landscape. This is the year that the Red Scare reached its peak. In case you don't know, the Red Scare was a period between the late 40s and mid-50s where communism was seen as such a great threat that it made America paranoid. HUAC, in cooperation with Senator Joseph McCarthy, who himself was not HUAC because he was a senator and not a congressman, he wound up ruining the lives of several people in the Hollywood industry with the help of HUAC because A, he exposed communist ties with them, and B, he was paranoid. This was not exclusive to live action stuff though. Many animators also got blacklisted, including John Hughley. Of the 8 that background artist Gene Fleury and his wife pointed out as communists, John Hughley was the only one to not agree with them. He refused to apologize for communist ties, which he had broken off by this point. Hughley was pretty much put in the backseat for the rest of the year until finally, in 1952, he upleapt UPA, claiming that it was a terrible decision, and the company had become exactly what he was trying to avoid. This is not gonna help UPA develop good in the long run. So, yeah. Joseph McCarthy would eventually be outed in 1955 because he was too darn paranoid, and HUAC would start to reassess how paranoid it was and eventually shut down. But poor Hughley would not come back to prominence until the end of the decade, but that's later. In third place, we have a Disney cartoon, The Silly Symphony Lambert the Sheepish Lion, narrated by Sterling Holloway, who did the drunk stork in Dumbo and actually cameos as him here, and also is the guy who's going to voice Winnie the Pooh, I think, going forward. Jack Hanna directed, and a guy named Bill Peet wrote the story. Pete worked as a Disney storyman from the late 30s to the mid 60s, and he was one of Disney's top storymen, and he was also a children's book author. He got his job, ironically, by making a great big fuss about the menial in-betweening work he was given. But this turned out to be for the benefit, since his work on Fantasia was so good that Walt Disney decided to let him be promoted to a lead storyboard artist. Pete would remain working at Disney until 1964, in which he left because Disney had grown quite agitating for him. He would continue to write children's books until he died in 2002. Oh, and a fun fact about Lambert the Sheepish Lion. Did you know that the same guys who wrote The Most Wonderful Time of the Year wrote the titular Sheepish Lion song? That should explain why it's so catchy. But this ceremony, I think, is an inverse of last year's ceremony. UPA was pretty much kicking mainstream animation's butt, but now it's mainstream animation that's kicking UPA's butt, especially since the Blacklist has taken away their chief visionary. How will this fare? Find out next time. This is the Man from Wackyland signing out, notifying you on this unlucky Friday the 13th that was 1951.